How's it going? My name is King Jalbs or Jalbs, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be going over my personal tier list of ARs in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. Since MW3 dropped 4 days ago, I've since been able to unlock the Forge camo on all the ARs, and I've used them enough to feel comfortable providing some rankings. I'm also going to be covering the attachments I use on all these, so feel free to skip around using the timestamps for whatever you're working on at the moment. Starting at the bottom, or the C tier, we have none other than the MTZ556. If any of you have tried leveling this thing, you can tell right away its cheeks. It does get better the more attachments you unlock, but only slightly so. Also, you have to run the 50 round mag drum for it to be usable in multiplayer lobbies. The 20 and 30 round default mag just don't cut it. So here's the build that I've been running, starting out with the Shadow Strike Suppressor, which I do use on almost every AR class in this game. The reason why we use the suppressor so much is that it doesn't provide any kind of penalties. It just takes you off the minimap. Next up, we have the MTZ Drifter Heavy Long Barrel, but you could also use the MTZ Clinch Pro Barrel if you'd like, although this does give you a little bit less range and bullet velocity with less of a movement penalty. Next up, we have the Chook Angled Foregrip. I would say this is interchangeable with the Demo Firm Grip or the FTAC Ripper 56 if you're looking for a little bit more accuracy or recoil control. But the Chook Angled Foregrip definitely gives you a lot of mobility, which is really nice on this gun. And finally, we have an optic. I love running an optic, and I love the slate reflector. You'll see this on every class that I'm running today, and I'm also using the 50 round drum. So next up in the B tier, I have the SVA545. And I put it in the B tier because I'm personally not very good with this gun, but get melted by it constantly. I think it has something to do with the 2 round burst at the start, but if you miss those first 2 shots, it's really not that great of a gun. But if you do hit them, it melts people. So due to this inconsistency, I put it in the B tier. It wouldn't surprise me though if some of you rank this higher than I have it. This is just my own personal opinion. As for attachments, once again, we're running the Shadow Strike Suppressor, but on the barrel, we've got the SVT Precision Barrel. If you don't really care about the Shadow Strike Suppressor or you don't want to run a suppressor, feel free to run the Corvus / Gen 2 muzzle because it provides all around good recoil control with not a lot of handling penalties. Additionally, we're also running the Citadel Grip, this time for good gun kick control, aim down sight speed, and recoil control, since this gun does have a little bit of recoil. Now for the A tier. At the A tier, first up, we have the MCW, which I think this could be nicknamed Old Faithful or Old Reliable. This thing shoots straight as an arrow and it will never ever let you down. It's not overpowered, but it's consistently good. So I love this thing and it will absolutely be the ranked meta weapon. If you plan on trying out ranked play once it drops, definitely get used to it and use it as often as you want in multiplayer leading up to the drop of ranked play. As for attachments, once again, we've got the Shadow Strike Suppressor on there. For the underbarrel, we've got a little bit of a different attachment here with the DR6 hand stop. And the reason why we use this is to increase mobility and handling with only a slight reduction in accuracy. Ignore that tactical stance spread. You're not going to be really using that too much, so don't worry about that. For the barrel, we've got the first one, which is the 16.5 MCW Cyclone Long Barrel. This gives you a lot of effective damage range, minimum damage range, and bullet velocity, although it does have a slight ADS movement speed and sprint to fire speed penalty, but that's really not a big deal. And once again, we've always got the extended mag on there, along with the slate reflector optic. Of course, feel free to choose any kind of optic that you like. I'd also highly recommend checking out the KR Minitac 40 Riser. I like this one, or the MK3 Reflector. These are all really clean optics to use. Above the MCW, we have the DG58, but it's also in the A tier because this thing is an absolute one burst machine. And if you hit a headshot with it, you're putting the enemy down. It doesn't have a lot of recoil and it's very good at long range. But the only thing keeping this from being in the S tier is the slower rate of fire. So if you do miss a burst at close range, it's going to be tough to recover from that with all the other good ARs and subs out there. Now this is the build that I've been running. Once again, we've got the Shadow Strike Suppressor. And here for the barrel, we've got the DG56 LS18 barrel. And I'm running this instead of the CDG T25 light barrel. And here's why. So looking here, you can see that the range increase is less than the light barrel. However, it increases your recoil control and only has minor mobility penalties. And you are looking for just a little bit of recoil control. However, definitely feel free to experiment a little bit with your barrel and which one you like more. Next up, because the barrel provides us a little bit more recoil control, we can feel free to use a underbarrel that gives us a little bit more mobility. And that's why I have the Chook angled foregrip on there. Similarly, if you feel like you need more recoil control, I think the Demo firm grip or the F-Tac Ripper are both viable options. I was using the F-Tac Ripper for a lot of the leveling process for this AR. And finally, of course, you have your extended mag and your slate reflector optic. And as any other optic in the video, right, feel free to exchange it with whatever you want to use. And finally, we have the S tier guns. First up in the S tier is the FR5.56. And this gun is gross. The fire rate, combined with the 1 burst potential, if you hit a headshot, leads you to melt almost anyone you come across. Or maybe it'll allow you to have a slightly higher KD than usual, thanks to SBMM. But I love running this gun, and I will be using it whenever I want to sweat in lobbies. This is the build that I've been using. Once again, Shadow Strike Suppressor, the 600mm FR long bore barrel, and we're looking for damage range and bullet velocity with this. And since this thing is super accurate, you're able to use an underbarrel that provides a lot of mobility. So you can use the Chook angled foregrip or the DR6 hand stop. I think either of those are good options. If you do feel like you need more recoil control, once again, the Demo firm grip and I think the F-Tac Ripper are probably your best options. And of course, extended mag, once again, and an optic if you prefer it. Now, if you don't want an optic, you could do something like high grain rounds, hollow point rounds if you really want to get annoying and sweaty on the kids that you're playing against, because the hollow point bullets will actually shake their screen when you shoot them. Or, even a rear grip. Honestly, I would probably stay away from the combs, and I would probably use a rear grip instead of a sight if you feel like you don't need one. And last but not least, also in the S tier, and I think is probably the best AR in the game right now, is the Holger 556. This gun was GA'd from pro scrims and S&D tournaments after just about a day from launch. And the number of times I've been 3-bulleted by this thing is unreal. It does have a little bit of recoil, but it feels good to use and can put down an entire team in one mag. I'd highly recommend you give this gun a go if the burst guns aren't doing it for you, and maybe you're feeling like you're getting melted too much in your multiplayer games. If you're trying to be a turret, this gun is what I would recommend. So, like all the other guns in the category, I've got the Shadow Strike Suppressor on there. But, like I said, due to the little bit of more recoil, I do have the Edge 47 grip on there. You could also give the F-Tac Ripper 56 a try. And now the reason why I have this Edge on here instead of the F-Tac, right, is if you look at the recoil control, it has a -4% on there. And so does the F-Tac Ripper, but it also gives you mobility penalties, which the Edge 47 doesn't as much. It still has that handling penalty, just not the mobility penalties. For the barrel, we've got the Chiro 6-match, and the reason why I have this one on is the bullet velocity and range, recoil control, and gun kick control. These other ones are kind of just built for like ADS speed and movement speed, which you can play around with, but this is the barrel that I would definitely recommend the most. And as always, you've got your extended mag on there and your optic that you prefer. Now, all right, that takes us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed or you've tried one of these builds for yourself, let me know down in the comments. But also feel free to let me know if you disagree with my rankings and where you would put the assault rifles on your own tier list. For those of you that are new here, I'm going to be continuously uploading MW3 content. So if you did enjoy the video or have checked out another one of my videos and enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video.